Welcome to the Good Rookie Show. My name's Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all. And we are Good Rookies.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's a Good Rookie Show. Yeah. What's going on, y'all? Yo, we're a host coming to you from Toronto, Canada, the 6th. And we bring you the hottest topics in sports and culture. I know it's Black History Month for him, but as you know, it's Black History and beyond for us. We celebrate Black History every single week on the podcast. So, kudos to the Good Rookies and everyone who supports us every week. So, Faheem, as you know, in fashion, I gotta ask you a little trivia per usual, right? You're like, oh man, but this week shouldn't be too hard, right? Shouldn't be too hard. So, in regards to, we're coming up now in a few weeks will be the NBA All-Star game, right? And we'll probably talk about the All-Stars in the future. But can you tell me, Faheem, who was the youngest All-Star ever? Ever. The youngest All-Star. I feel like you might get this one, but
No, I think you might have got me on this.
Really?
I'll go with Luka.
No, but he's not top 5, actually. Number 1, for those who don't know, and again, this is big up to Highlight Click. They posted this a few weeks ago.
Yeah, can I get a team?
No, I can't get you a team. That's cheating.
Can I get a year?
No, that's cheating. Faheem, come on, man. Think about high school players that came in the league young, Faheem. You got this. There are only a few that came in straight from high school. Only a few came from high school, Faheem.
Right.
Few.
Kobe.
When I say his name, you're going to be so upset.
Not Kobe.
Kobe, he's number 1, yes.
Oh, Kobe. Okay.
Kobe was 19.5 years old, the youngest All-Star ever. Number 2 was LeBron, Faheem. Another high school straight to NBA.
Right. That would make sense. Yeah.
Right? Number 3 is LaMelo Ball, your guy. Number 4 is Magic Johnson at 20.5 age. So both the Ball, LaMelo, and Magic both were at All-Star at 20.5 age year. And number 5 is Zion Williamson at 20.7 is with the exact age. So those are the youngest All-Stars ever. Woo! Quite impressive. Kobe under 20 making an All-Star game. Wow.
Right out the gate. Yeah.
Yeah, off the gate.
All right, well, Nelly J, there was released about the NBA.com. They had their top selling jerseys. And I think it's pretty interesting on the list. These things really don't shift too much. But what I'll do is there's 15 players. I'm wondering, maybe I'll go 15 down to 1 very quickly. Okay, these are all names that we know. 15, De'Aaron Fox. 14, Joker. 13, LaMelo Ball. 12, Joel Embiid. 11, Ja Morant. 10, Damian Lillard. 9, Tyrese Maxey. We'll circle back to some of these names. 8, Kevin Durant. 7, Devin Booker. 6, Luka Doncic. 5, Giannis. 4, Victor. 3, LeBron. 2, Jason Tatum. And 1, Steph. Which one stands out to you the most as the biggest surprise, Nelly J?
Steph being number 1. I'm actually surprised about that. But I think Steph fan base is so vast, and I think people would assume it would be LeBron number 1, right? But yeah, Steph being number 1. I feel like LeBron was number 1 for a while, but Steph being number 1, I am shocked about that. I would say I'm surprised I don't see Kawhi, but he hasn't played. Kawhi is typical fan favorite, but I guess Clippers players don't really have that a big fan base. You know what I'm saying? Devin Booker and Kevin Durant being top 10 as a Suns, they're getting a big following in terms of Devin Booker, especially number 7. That's really impressive. And no Ant-Man, no, guys like that. So quite interesting, I think. SGA, he's an up-and-coming star for Canada, not on top15.com, but again, he's playing for OKC, a smaller market. the markets here for him, it's like Dame Lillard has a following, right? Giannis, they're in smaller markets, but those guys have fans, right? They engage with fans, they have great social media presence. So I'm not surprised. Tyrese Maxey being top 10 already.
That was
Him
the one
surpassing
for me.
LaMelo, like, yeah, like
That's shocking, especially
that's
in
over John
Philadelphia.
Morant. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and him playing in Philly with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's an MVP candidate. Now, I wonder if selling these for this year, perhaps people already have an Embiid jersey. So now with Maxi having this really breakout season, maybe it's time for they're saying, well, you know what, maybe let's get the new guy. That push, it could be I won't say like voter
Yeah.
fatigue or buyer fatigue, but
I don't
Joel,
know because Steph is number one and LeBron number
yeah,
three. I mean,
right,
if they ain't got
right,
buyer fatigue, I don't think,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
right,
like,
right.
like the different color jerseys, different style jerseys, fans just
Mhm.
buy, you know what I'm saying? It's not the same jersey you're buying every year,
No way.
right? So the fact that Steph Curry and LeBron are still top five and they're like how many years in the league?
Right.
Victor being number four already.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, he's a phenom.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the only rookie on this list.
Mm-hmm.
There's no chat. There's no chat top 15, right? So clearly Victor has a lot of followers already.
Yeah.
People are purchasing his tickets. And again, Spurs fans aren't that vast either, right? So the big markets, like, think about it, right? The number one valued, I think it's the Warriors and Knicks are top two. There's no Knicks players on here, no Brunson, right? And that's the most valued franchise in the league.
Right.
But Boston Lakers, they have a legacy, but they're the only players on here. There's no AD, there's no Jalen Brown. Yeah, I mean, people like who they like, I guess. And big up to Darren Fox being number 15. I'm really happy for him. He was a guy that I've always felt should get his flowers, and he was an All NBA player last year. Yeah, like him being top 15 is also big for him, being a Kings player. I'm sure not many Kings players are top 15 on top selling jerseys too. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to give him a shout out.
So with the reigning MVP, Nikola Jokic, he's at
Finals MVP,
14.
finals MVP, not rating,
Oh,
finals.
finals. That's right. My bad. Yeah, reigning finals MVP champion. He's at 14.
That makes
Um,
sense.
but I'm looking at him. I don't know if outside of maybe Denver or that small community of Denver fans that are outside of Denver, if he's really going to transcend outside where you'll see a lot of people buying his jersey outside of the market he is. I mean,
They must be though. To be on this list for him, these are people
mhm,
that have fans outside the market.
mhm.
Like not one
But
market can make you top 15. You have to be selling to people outside. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like this is not just one market. You know what I'm saying? So like I think Jokic has a fan base. A lot of people like his game. A lot of basketball players like his game. A lot of people
Mhm,
respect. Like I went to the Raptors game to just watch him play, right? Because I like so I think people respect him. He's a champion. He takes basketball seriously, but also has a good balance, a work life balance. I think we can all learn from Jokic and how to not take things so seriously, but work your butt off and be focused, but also have other things going in your life. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
I think for to be honest, for him, you have to have fans outside of just your fan base.
So
You
that I
you have
understand.
to.
But
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
we a few weeks ago we talked about the Serbian Basketball Federation, who didn't
Hmm.
even have him as the best player in their own federation, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, I'm just wondering if you took him and say he was playing in, say, New York, for instance, if there would be more of a push
Oh
for
yeah.
him to sell more jerseys, like well, actually, playing in New York's a lot different than playing in Denver because he'd be
Yeah.
expected to do more marketing and et cetera, right?
Keep in
But
mind, Jokic is impressive. He has no social media presence. None.
mhm,
And he's top
I believe it.
15. That's impressive. Because
Right,
every other guy on here is on social media except for him.
right,
So the fact that he
right.
does no marketing campaigns, I haven't seen one Jokic commercial, national campaign. He don't care
Hmm.
about that. Like,
And Ja at 11, John Moran at 11. How do you think the guns, just
yeah, no,
the out of court activities that's been happening? How do you think that's affected his rating? A higher or lower?
no, I think it's just that because I don't think that's why his jerseys drop. It's because he hasn't been playing.
Mhm.
right? Like everyone here has been like the Kawhis. This isn't a list of top 15 best players, list of most popular players, right? So he hasn't played basketball, so less highlights, less reels, less videos. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone in top five for him, those five guys probably get, or top 10, they get a lot of like Instagram videos created off of their highlights, their shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think for him it's just not enough impressions, but he's still top 11. That's impressive. The fact that he missed the first 25 games, played for how much more and then got injured, like he's a really strong fan base. He
Mhm.
definitely does to be top 11. An entire, well, 400 and how many guys play in the league? That's
Right.
pretty impressive. Remember,
So
right?
that's a
We like our single fan base probably have a lot of Scotty Barnes jerseys, and we're not even top 15 here. So imagine how
right.
many people are buying his jerseys here. You know what I'm saying? To be top 15 for all of NBA.
So you mentioned about Canada and Scotty Barnes. So
Mm-hmm.
NBAstore.ca, so the Canadian version.
Mm-hmm.
On the list, Scotty Barnes, his jersey is the number one selling jersey in Canada.
Rightfully so. I have his
Uh,
jersey too. I'm
right. Oh,
part of
you
that
do.
group.
Good job.
But actually,
Good
but
job.
but I bought it. I bought it before last year. I bought it like his rookie season because I'm like, when he gets better, the price is gonna go up. So I'm buying it now before it
Mhm.
goes crazy.
So LeBron number two, no surprise. Steph at
In
number three, no,
Canada.
in Canada,
Wow. Okay.
still no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Pascal Siakam at number four. He was in
Big
the
up.
Raptors. Now he's in the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much Pacers jersey, because they obviously it's probably a combination of Raptors and Pacers for him. But I'm wondering how the Pacers jerseys will be for him. So that's not so much of a surprise him being number four. Giannis number five, no surprise. Tatum six. Luca, Victor, we're back down to eight. Number nine, Kevin Durant. Number 10, Ja Morant.
Wow.
Number 11, Shea. He looks like he's going to be a starter in the Western Conference. So he's
That
getting
looks like
some.
he will be. He is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So him at 11, is that a surprise? You would think that this is Canada. This is Shea playing in a small market, but playing at a very high level and well known across the league. Him at 11, maybe a little bit of surprise. I thought more jerseys of Shea would be sold.
You know what? At first, I thought I was like, yeah, they should sell more jerseys, but it seems like a lot of Canada fans are such big Raptor fans. I don't think they can find it in them to buy a SGA jersey because of that. But I think like in Toronto, we have way more LeBron fans than SGA fans, clearly, right?
Mhm.
LeBron has played much longer, right? SGA is still an up and coming star. So I do think SGA honestly, like he's doing really well social media wise. So I could see him moving up for him in next
Yeah.
season. I could see
Mhm.
him being like a top, at least top 10 or
Yeah.
top five. But then again, it's tough, man. Steph, Pascal will probably drop in Canada. Giannis and Jason Tatum. I mean, those are big shoes. And SGA, I think if he can win for him in the postseason, like the other guys have outside of Scotty, everyone in top seven. But the fact that we have more Victor, like people have purchased more Wemby jerseys than SGA. Wow.
Hmm.
Wemby's a phenom. He's eight.
Yeah. All right. So that's Shea at 11. So 12 Booker, 13 LaMelo, 14 Dame Lillard, and now 15. 15 is Grady Dick.
Yeah. That's a shocker.
Um,
Come on, man.
that is a shocker,
Like,
especially so.
more than
Uh,
OG Anunoby, more like we had other Raptor players on the team the last year. You know what I'm saying?
you
Like they're
just
like, yeah,
mentioned about
Grady, Grady.
Canadians and winning a chip, and if Jamal Murray, big surprise that Jamal Murray,
Yeah,
fresh off a
that is a
championship,
snub. You're correct.
where he contributed big time to his
Mm-hmm.
championship on
Big.
a Canadian list, didn't make the top 15,
Yeah,
but Grady
yeah.
Dick did.
Great,
So
great. I mean,
I
his last name. We don't know why they bought that jersey for
so
him.
okay, you know what? I'll be honest, that didn't even cross my mind. So are you telling me that people are buying the jersey off the last name? I didn't. Okay,
Yes, it's DICK, and then the
right.
one, like, like
Yeah.
he were number one. Like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I mean, how many? Like, come on, man. You know, people are silly. Listen,
Right.
man. How for him? How many times will we ever see a jersey with that last name on it?
Right.
You know what
So
I'm saying? The first time it's
yeah.
happened, I believe. He's the first DICK. And yeah, it's just something where we're just gonna see. Now, it's his last name. So enough respect to him. I'm just saying, like,
Right.
I think people ran to buy it because of that. I think people also remember Faheem, you spoke about him. You weren't impressed with his first couple of games, right? But
Mm,
he's number 15 in jersey sales. So they're not buying because of his performance on the floor. Now he is playing very well. Big up to you, Grady. Happy for you. But these sales are from last year. So
mm.
clearly he just got
So
drafted.
I was actually thinking or wondering how much of his look, like his race, like in Canada, like how much did that play in
I don't think
to
it's that
being a
much
number
because
15?
the only like I think if it was, a race thing, I think we'd see Jokic on top 15. He's not. He's the champion.
Mm,
You know what I'm
hmm.
saying? So that's just that's just Raptors fandom liking his last name. They want him to do well, but also like, come on, Faheem.
So
You're
He's been afforded some opportunities that you wouldn't think. Also, like he had a podcast where they went to him for a pod. You remember the when he did they gave him a
Mhm.
podcast? Was it one of the big
Sky had
um
the same thing too. Like for rookie, they're doing that stuff for rookies now. Like they all kind of have that little,
mhm,
marketing ploy, and
mhm,
I get it, right? But
mhm,
again, most rookies now are doing podcasting or doing stuff like that's his age. His age group is like that, right? They're
mhm,
they're very involved social media wise, right? They're more vocal. Like remember Scotty would do the 2K stuff all the time, right? That was like so. I mean, again, Fahim, I understand you can't believe it, but trust me, people are just like that. His last name was about this. It wasn't because of his skill set or how great or how great he played in the summer league. No, this is all his last name, and it's gonna be iconic because no one's gonna have that last name. So,
wow.
mhm.
All right. So I guess going forward, do you think we'll expect to see Jamal Murray crack this list? Because I think
For
we're talking
Canada,
snubs, yeah, for Canada, I think he's
you'd have
kind
to
of a
do
snub not being on here.
you have to do something like I don't think Jamal Murray does any marketing within Canadian fans. Like he doesn't like SGA does a lot of captions, like he's pushing himself and like, he played for team remember he played for FIBA last year and he won us a medal, which we've never won before, right? So like that's SGA. Jamal, I think if Jamal plays in the Olympics, does some stuff in Canada, maybe, yeah. But that's on him though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
these fans in Canada are pretty tough. They're pretty tough.
Clearly, clearly.
And also, I'm trying to think, did Jamal play a NBA game? Like, you know how OKC had that game in Montreal where they played and, that kind of like reach? Like,
Hmm.
I'm wondering, did Denver play in Canada during the preseason? I don't think they did.
No.
Yeah. So like, I mean, if you want something in Canada, you got to do more in Canada. But I mean, you know me, I'm a big Jamal Murray fan. So if he's
Mhm.
not top 10 or 15, doesn't really matter. I just think for him to crack it, he just has to do invest in marketing. And to be honest, if Jamal, I don't think is the kind of guy that really cares about that stuff. Like he wants to win championship, play with his teammates, play basketball, right? So
Mhm.
he probably doesn't even care about any of this,
Right.
to be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, Nelly J. Let's go for the culture.
For the culture. We get to highlight individuals for the culture. And today, Fahim, I'm really excited to highlight someone for the culture. So we're going to highlight Brad Holmes. So you're asking, who's Brad Holmes? Who is that guy, right? Who is he? Well, Brad Holmes is an American football executive for the NFL. He's actually a VP and GM for the Detroit Lions, right? Who went further than I think most teams ever thought they could. He won the Executive of the Year for him. What? Before the Lions, he actually was with the Rams. Prior to that, so this is his first time being a GM or executive vice president. But I just think it's so great because he is a black man, y'all. And we talk about Fahim having more diversity, right, within the front offices of the NFL. We talk about the how that can help teams progress and stuff like that. So I just think it's so amazing. And I don't know if he's the first black executive, I doubt he is, But the fact that he won it and it was announced literally last week at his Black History Month for him, I was like, yo, we gotta highlight him, right? We gotta highlight him. So big up to Brad Holmes for being the executive of the year for the Detroit Lions. He began with them for him in the 2021 starting season. And I just think it's inspiring, right? To show like, hey, not only can we play, right? He played at the DT as well. So he was a player prior. I think he went to, what did he go to? I think he went to, was it North Carolina A&T. So he went there for college. He did play as a DT, play college football, and actually he did win the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference and Black College Football National Championship at the school. So it wasn't like he went to a top, D1 school for him. You know what I'm saying? This man grinded it out throughout the year. After playing and stuff like that, he worked in public relations, had an internship for him with the Atlanta Hawks of the NBA in 2002, which he actually parlayed public relations between the Rams. Like, Faheem, he's really been involved in a lot of sports front office type discussions and in that realm. So I just think he's someone that, hey, like, you can become not only a part of the NFL in the front office, but excel. So I just want to give you your flowers today, Brad Holmes. Big up to you and for being for the culture. So Faheem, any thoughts on Brad Holmes reaching this milestone this year?
First of all, big up. I do have a question though. The Lions.
Yeah.
They made a strong push, strongest as we can remember, right?
1991 was the last time they won a playoff
91.
game.
Wow.
1991.
Okay.
Yeah.
You follow football a lot more than me. Was there any major blockbuster moves that he made this year that would kind of influence this, or was it strictly off of the team's performance, or how do you know how? Do you have anything in
Well, I
details?
mean, a couple of things, right? Great. They drafted well. Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs. Two of those guys are on the Lions that
And
made
did
it.
those two guys have any like were they getting playing time
Yeah,
and
they're
having any
starters.
influence on it?
Yeah, they're starters.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Nice.
So again, so I'm saying like it wasn't like he just drafted whoever. Like,
I do have a quick question.
mm-hmm.
See Masai Ujiri. Masai Ujiri being a black GM, turned around the franchise, had a keen eye for scouting. Is this kind of maybe a NFL version of that, where he's a black executive, seems to have a key eye for scouting? Is
Yeah, I mean, yes, that could be said as well. Like, I do think it was a couple of things. I think, they only won 3 games last season. They won way more. I also believe like they made the right moves in terms of bringing in personnel, beefing up their defensive line. Their O line was really good this year. Like, they did quite a few different moves, I think. Remember, also the coach of the Lions also won Coach of the Year. So I think that tandem together, they did a really good job. Dan Campbell and him, I think, both did a good job. They were 3-13-1. And that's their first year together. They've turned around this franchise to be a winning franchise, to be 12-5 this season, right? So I just think they were always trending upwards the last few years. I would say Aleem McNeil, and a few other in the third round of the 21 draft. Those two players became, Amon St. Brown as well, and Derek Barnes were also back-to-back picks in that draft pick in 2021. Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs this year. Yes, and then Jack Campbell and Brian Branch also had good years. Like, they just picked up the right guys through the draft. Like, how many times do we know teams who pick up guys through the draft? Remember, they trade away Matt Stafford to get those draft picks too, right? They got Jared Goff. Like, I just think all those moves were great. In 2022, they had safety Kirby Joseph to the 3rd-round pick, right? And the edge rusher James Houston was a 6th-round selection. So looking at their past draft picks, they just started from 2021 for him. They just picked the right players, and now look where they are.
Right. Once again, this seems to be another possible Messiah comparison. You were mentioning about the coaching relationship, coaching one coach of the
Mm-hmm.
year, not executive. You say the same with Messiah. Uh, Dwayne Casey, one coach of the year. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, no, I definitely see the correlation. I definitely see the correlation. I think it's really dope. I think for Masai it's a bit different, right? They're both are great. I think Masai coming from Africa to do it here, like it wasn't he grew up in America, right? So I think him coming here, like where he started from to where he
mm,
ends now, it's crazy. I think also similar to him, like he just was a really good scout, right? A really
mm,
good scout to your point. And now he's the president and sorry, vice president and GM. And like he turned around his franchise in the last what 3 years? Lord,
mhm,
like
mm,
to your point, just exceptional scouting. Um,
mhm.
so let's see if we can continue this season coming up for draft. So
Right.
Brian Holmes, big up to you, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brad Holmes, big up to you.
Yeah.
Really congrats on this. Wow,
Yeah.
pretty
Brian,
dope.
I mean, he may be something special, you know?
Yeah,
It's always great to see um, black people just getting in these positions and excelling, you know?
excelling. And
So,
also, I just saw that his dad played too for the Steelers. So
oh,
that's a good tidbit. His dad was an offensive line in for Melvin Holmes is his
okay.
dad. So he played from 1971 to 73.
Wow. So
And his
he's clearly
nephew's
been around the game a long
also,
time.
yeah, and his nephew is also a former Detroit Lion defensive back, Luther Bradley. Um, so sorry, his dad's nephew. So I guess his dad's nephew was a defensive back. So this family it has football, and then his cousin was the first round pick for the Rams in 2005. So yeah, like it's just football, the pedigree of
Mhm.
football players, intelligence. Not surprised this guy is a scout and scouts really well. He probably watched football, from his dad to like his uncles to everybody, right?
Right.
So this is pretty dope. Big up to him.
Nice. Big up, Brian Holmes. That's inspiring, especially for those looking
Hmm.
to look for something outside of football. That's something that we got to highlight. So much love.
Absolutely. Keep in mind, Fahim, before we close off for the culture, Brad Holmes is the HBCU graduate.
Mm.
So that is also something we gotta
Wow.
highlight as well. Yeah.
Right. Like think of the odds of an HBCU player whose programs really don't, first of all, get to the NFL. Not a lot of them are really drafted, right? So for him to go that route and uh, be an executive from an HBCU school after playing, like, wow, his a very inspirational story, definitely for the culture.
Wow.
And you know what? You couldn't have chose a better one at the start of Black History Month, also. So good job, Nelly J.
Thank you. Thank you. Big up to Brad Holmes. Big up to you,
Mm-hmm.
man.
Mm-hmm. Well, Steph. All right, Nelly J. Let's close this out with our last segment. That's absurd.
That's absurd. Fahim, bro. What was absurd this week? What was absurd?
The Minnesota Timberwolves, uh, notably, we'll say Karl Anthony-Towns and crew, the Timberwolves players, they were asking assistant coaches for updates on where Joel Embiid finished in scoring so they could help Karl Anthony-Towns surpass his total that night. Absurd.
Absurd. So this is a night, Fahim, that Karl Anthony-Towns dropped 62 points. Now, keep in mind, Fahim, that night, Joel Embiid was playing the Spurs and he dropped 70 points, Fahim. So, but guess what? Joel Embiid dropped 70 and his team won. The Timberwolves Cat dropped 62 and they lost to the Charlotte Hornets. Absurd. Absurd.
Absurd.
Absurd.
Ah,
Their coach was kind of upset too, and I don't blame him. Chris Finch literally ripped them a new one, right? He felt that there was a lot of immature performances here throughout the roster. We totally disrespected the game, ourselves, and we got exactly what we deserved.
Yeah, I mean, he called that straight. I have to think it kind of tells you where we are in today's game, that a lot of players are looking for individual stats, as you know, they say stat padding.
Mm-hmm.
That's clearly a case of stat padding if you're looking just only to get somebody something, and not think about the team. Circling back, if you're going to do that, in which you shouldn't do it, but first and foremost, it should be about winning the game ahead of you. And then if you can get additional points, with the win, that's icing on the cake. But to be actually focused on an individual performance on a night where you take an L is just completely absurd.
Absolutely. Anthony Edwards commented and said, once he hit his first 6, 7 shots, I think everybody was pretty much just trying to see him go get 100 points. I know I was. I think all of us wanted to get him to 80 or whatever it was. Willing from it though. So they admitted, yeah, like we were just trying to get him the points, but y'all ain't winning the game.
He hit 5 or 6, and you thought you wanted to make him Wilt Chamberlain that night with 100. Absurd.
Yeah, man. And after the game, they're like, yeah, Karl Anthony-Towns said, yeah, we got to find a way to win. Well, that should be the priority always, to win the game. Not concerned about, yo, guy, give me the ball so I can make points. Like, yeah, just absurd, immature. I'm happy Chris French called them out. Again, Faheem, we've done post game questions to players after games. They don't care how much points they scored if they lose, especially if we lose to a team like the Charlotte Hornets. That's definitely embarrassing for the Timberwolves. So they got to mature, man. Because trust me, Faheem, when the playoff basketball starts, you got to get focused. And I feel like now is the pregame to that, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see if this bites them in the butt in the future. That this loss, Faheem, this one loss, Faheem, could bite them in standings.
That's true.
Right?
And it's gonna definitely get tight in the Western Conference as the season goes on also. So it's a good point.
Exactly.
Good point.
We're gonna see.
All right. So Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
Y'all, that was the Good Rookie Show. So guys, as you know, it's our times to do shout outs. And I want to do a quick shout out to viewership. Yes, women's sports viewership. So Faheem, not sure if you watched it, but South Carolina played LSU last week. So I guess a few weeks ago. Great game. It was like massive. That same night, Faheem, the Celtics played the Heat. Guess which game had more viewership?
Wow. I'm guessing the women's game had more viewership.
Yes.
And hold on, the Celtics and the Heat.
Yes.
And what night was it on? Was it on a weekend?
Yep. No, during the week.
Wow. Wow.
So big up to LSU, South Carolina. As you know, Coach Dawn, her team is undefeated at the time. And yeah, love it. It was a great game. You know, the Bayou Barbie, Angel Reese was playing, Haley, like it was a great game, man. I watched that game. Fun game. But yeah, 1.55 million to 1.38. So anyway, that's how it's done. Most watched sporting event on TV for that night. Big up to college women's basketball. Love it.
Nice. And I think what I'll do is, with the Super Bowl coming up, we're in February. Do we have an episode before ours? So we give our predictions.
Yeah, Faheem. Super Bowl is coming up February 11th. Do you want to do predictions? Who you got winning?
Real quick, I can't bet against Mahomes. I kind of feel like how people felt about Brady. You know, you go into the Super Bowl, you can't bet against Brady. Mahomes, big game. I understand in regards to, I think the Niners are a slight favorite, odds-on favorite. I would take those odds. I can't bet against Mahomes, man. Yeah, big game Mahomes. So I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah, me too. Same sentiment. I ain't gotta say much. Like, it's Pat Mahomes. Like, I didn't bet against Tom Brady. And again, if Pat Mahomes loses, okay, but yes, Pat. Can't bet against him. And Kelsey, this could be Travis's last Super Bowl. He said he might retire after this. So yeah, this is the last dance. Let's go.
Any thoughts real quick on Taylor Swift?
No thoughts.
No thoughts.
No thoughts. Like, I'm happy she's supporting her boo, and that's all I'm gonna say. I have no comments.
Okay.
This is all about football, not about Taylor Swift.
Right. No, I'm just wondering any. I wonder, you know how they have these like crazy bet lines of, like, for instance, like who will hit a field goal first, or who will get the first down or something like that. I just wonder what Taylor Swift type bets are going to be on for the Super Bowl. Maybe like
don't care and don't care. I'm a football fan, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect the game too much to focus on Taylor Swift. Respectfully. I like Taylor. She got some great songs, but I'm not going to focus. NFL is NFL. You know what I'm saying? And to me, this is her personal life. I don't really want to get involved in her personal life. So let her support her friends. Ciara supports Russell Wilson. We won't talk about her. Like, I think we keep the same energy, right? Big up to Taylor, but this is about Travis and him trying to make history. So let's focus on that.
There you go. All right. Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
All right, y'all. Good rookie show. If you had a good time, enjoyed yourself, like and subscribe. And tell a friend, Faheem.
We're on all platforms. You know what it is. That's a good rookie show. Oh, yeah.